Hello friends, Coach Bob here with you, and today, check out the water wheel. Yeah, that's how they used to do a lot of mill work down here in the deep south, was the water mills. I guess they did that everywhere. I think it was like an old European thing, if I'm not mistaken. You can look that up. You're probably smarter than I am and know it already. Anyway, check out the beautiful lakes, man. We've just left the wonderful Eufala, Alabama, and it is hot today. We're going to look at some cool things along the way, a lot of green grass. We're going to also show some Ryders rides today. I have gotten quite a few, so we'll be showing that to you very shortly. But our next stop is a very small town called Clayton, Alabama. Do you feel it? I feel it. All of these little Alabama towns like this make me feel like I'm walking back into time. Like Mayberry RFD, I expect to see Otis, come staggering out of the jail, or stop and see Floyd stammering along the sidewalk talking about a haircut, or see the beautiful Helen Crump, Andy's girlfriend. Or Barney come running out with his one bullet. But welcome to Clayton, Alabama. It is a small town. In fact, that was pretty much it. Population of 2,000. Clayton is the county seat of Barber County. I bet you didn't know that. So our next stop is right here, the Miller Martin Townhouse. It's a historic house in Clayton, Alabama. It was built in 1859 in a Gothic revival architecture. In 1871, it was bought by Judge Henry Russell, and in 1915 was purchased by John Council Martin. He was the mayor of Clayton for a while. The house was later inherited by his daughter and put on the National Register of Historic Places in December of 1974. A lot of these houses we'd love to go into, but people live here, so I don't think they'd appreciate that much. If we were more powerful YouTube influencers, we would be given access. And the only way for that to happen is for you to share and subscribe to this channel so that we can grow. And when we grow, we'll get more access because we'll be famous. You can make that happen. We're counting on you. As I was telling you, this is the Barber County Governor's Mansion tour. Now, these tours, I want you to realize, are unguided. And so what you have to do is you have to do your homework so that you know what you're looking for and where it is. Now, this was a last-second decision for us, and I really wasn't even sure what this thing was going to look like. And so when Coach Vic and I hopped on the Spyder this morning, or yesterday morning that is, we weren't quite sure where we were going, how far it was going to be, what the terrain was going to be like. We didn't know any of that, and that's okay. But understand that when you do these kinds of trips, you never really know what you're going to see or what you're going to get into. And the reason that I'm saying that is because I want you to enjoy the trip, enjoy the journey, knowing that every little bump in the road and everything that you miss is not the end of the world. One of the things that I wanted to see specifically, and probably the only thing I wanted to see specifically, is one thing that I did not get to see today, and that is the Octagon House, or the Petit Roberts House. And it actually is in Clayton. It was built between 1859 and 1861, and I'm going to insert some pictures right here of it. Now, it is an interesting house with an interesting history, but Clayton was hard to navigate through in the sense that there weren't a lot of people around, and it was super hot, and Coach Vic was looking a little red in the face, and just driving along at 5 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour, looking around. You know what? We'll save it for another day. It's not the end of the world. But again, the Octagon House, or the Petit Roberts House, was built in 1859 and completed in 1861 by Benjamin Franklin Petit. Now, Benjamin was from New York, but ended up in Clayton. He was a businessman, and the guy was a pretty interesting dude. He fathered 17 children with 3 separate wives. 2 of the wives died during childbirth. Can't imagine why with 17 kids. What a weird thing to happen. 2 of his sons died as a result of service in the Confederate Army, and 5 of his children actually died in infancy. So, the guy had a life fraught with tragedy and a life fraught with success as well. The Octagon House is a gravel wall house, which was rare back in the time, and it was an octagon shape, obviously. And during the Civil War, he opened his house up to the Union Army, which was kind of odd because, as I said, he had 2 sons that died in the Confederate Army, but he opened his house to the Union Army to allow them to occupy his home, and that he was hoping that would keep the house from being destroyed and burned or looted or that sort of thing. And so they did open it, and the house was not destroyed as a result. The house is quite large. The walls on the house are 17 inches thick, and the Union Army soldiers said that the house was built like a fort. They really felt like that it was a very strong fortress, so they felt very fortunate to be there. So if you ever get a chance to go to Clayton, Alabama and see the Octagon House, I highly recommend it. We will be making a trip back up here specifically to see that. And after all of the restrictions are lifted, I actually want to go in and tour the home, and I will make sure that I post that when I do. But make sure that when you go on these trips, don't be disappointed. Don't feel like, hey man, the trip was ruined because of this. We enjoy every minute of every trip, and we are enjoying the ride. So you just enjoy it right here with us. Our next stop, Clio, Alabama. Yeah, that's right, Clio, not Clio. Welcome to Clio, Alabama. Now, Clio is an interesting little town. And, one of the things that I talked about recently about our channel, if it's not growing, it's dying. And Clio is a town that is literally just dying. In 2000, the population was 2,206. In 2010, population was 1,399. And I did a quick check to see what it is now, and they're showing it as 1,018 with a median income of just over $20,000 and a median home price of just under $40,000. One of the things that is here, other than a Dollar General store, is the Easterling Correctional Facility with a capacity of 1,267. So if the prison is full, there would be more people in the prison than in the city. Wow. The people here were very kind and charming, and I was curious where the name Clio came from. Well, apparently there was a violin player back in the 1800s who was trying to drum up business for like square dance musicians, and he came up with the name Clio. Now, Clio is known in Greek mythology as the muse of history, or known as the proclaimer. And not only is he the muse of history, he is also known for playing the lyre, L-Y-R-E. Yeah, that's an instrument. It was a way to try to arouse interest to get people to come to Clio. And as we traveled through this out-of-way place, we realized there was another very special thing about Clio that really might make you want to come here. And that is the famous Blue Springs. Now, the Blue Springs State Park in Clio is a great place. It's really, really cool. The main attraction is the crystal clear spring, where the water is 68 degrees year-round. The spring pumps out about 3,600 gallons of water per minute. That's right, 3,600 gallons a minute. As I was talking about Clio, how things are somewhat depressed economically, rates here to camp and to just visit the area is really cheap. The gate fees for a day for 0 to 3 people is free, and for 4 to 11 people is $1. So, you can afford to go there and hang out at the park, do a little swimming, have a picnic, do your thing. Now, when we came through, everything was closed up, and they were kind enough to just let us come through and ride around and look around. It really is cool. The way it's set up, the spring, they have a paved sidewalk going around the spring, so it looks like a swimming pool. It really is quite nice. It looks like it'd be a blast to swim in. I will definitely be coming back up here when I go to see the Octagon House. I will be doing some swimming at Blue Springs here in Clio. As we go deeper and further south into Alabama, as we head back towards Tallahassee, we're heading towards the Dothan, Alabama area. And I do that with some selfish reasons. I do want to look at something that is a point of interest for me, but maybe not for others. Now, I'm going to clarify that right now with this. Recently, as in the last 5 days, there was an explosion at San Diego Naval Station this past week, and I had several of you reach out to me to check on the well-being of my son and his beautiful bride, and I want to thank you for that, to know that you care enough to actually reach out and that you pay close enough attention to this channel to even remember that my son is in the Navy and is stationed in San Diego. He is fine. He saw it on the news and did not even get called in. He was surprised about that. Which brings me to my selfish viewing site, and that is the Joseph M. Farley nuclear power plant. Now, I look at this area because I hope that maybe my son one day could get a job much closer to home, and so I'm kind of job shopping for him. And this would be one of those places that he might be able to get to work with his nuclear reactor background. Now, I will tell you, this plant is quite impressive. There's high security stuff here, man. They've got the big guard towers. I would venture to say that they may have some sort of protective mechanisms up in those towers to keep bad folks from going in there. This particular plant provides 19% of Alabama's electricity and employs over 850 folks. The plant is in operation 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year. It has 2 pressurized water reactors generating a capacity of 1,800 megawatts. So, if you're one of those electrical engineering types like my boy, you'll understand all that. Anyway, that was the Joseph M. Farley power plant. Robert, if you're watching this, here you go, buddy. Fill out that application. Well, we've got a couple of more stops in mind, one in Iron City, Georgia, and the other in Bainbridge, Georgia, our usual stop-off point. And then we will be bringing up a couple of Ryders rides. So let's enjoy Iron City, Georgia. As we roll towards Bainbridge, Georgia for our final turn towards Tallahassee, I wanted to say again, thank you for all of the thumbs ups, the shares, the subscriptions. It really is helping. We're rapidly approaching the 1,500 subscriber mark. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate it more than you know. The comments, they're wonderful. The emails, the support that we get for this channel, it is so encouraging to Coach Vic and I, and we just want to say thank you. Please continue to share the videos with your friends. If you're not subscribing, if you're just watching, please subscribe. It really does help. Even if you can just do a thumbs up, leave us a thumbs up. It really does help. A thank you, anything down at the bottom, it always helps. Everything in the algorithm that YouTube has, it just moves us up and makes us more visible. And that really does help us out a lot. So again, thank you for all of that. Now what we wanted to do before we roll into Bainbridge for our last and final pit stop before we do Ryders Rides is we wanted to show you the Flint River. It runs right through Bainbridge, and it is really nice. When I was telling you yesterday on the way up to Alabama how we used to come through here and watch concerts, and we saw Atlanta Rhythm Section and how we'd see fireworks over the river. This is where we were going, is this park right here. But they've really done a lot to make this area way more beautiful than it used to be. And you know how some things can get a little run down. Well, they've really taken the time, the effort, and the money to make this place very, very community friendly. And we love riding down here, walking down here, jogging down here. It just really, really is nice. So enjoy the scenic river walk right here just for a few minutes, and we'll see you at the gas station.
Oh, that's really nice. I'm eating again.
All right, so day 2, we are in Bainbridge, Georgia again. Finished topping Casper off. Everything went well. Got to see some really cool things, and you're gonna get to see them. That's the even cooler part, babe.
Like, notice Coach Bob's new sunglasses? See Coach Bob's new sunglasses?
Fancy, aren't they?
Give a thumbs up if you like them, or a thumb down if you don't. I'll start with a thumbs down.
She's soliciting thumbs downs on my video. She's a bad person. Easy trip. Been a lot of fun. 5-star cuisine.
No, not really. Zaxby's is not 5-star. But when we do our trips, Coach Bob, I'm going to make him. We are going to eat at local restaurants, not chain restaurants.
Everything's good. Get this thing loaded up as soon as Coach Vic finishes her kitty fingers. Kitty meal. Always got to break the rules. Looking good, Coach
Vic. Trying to get my hair out of my face. I'm experimenting. Ooh. There you go. See? Keeps her hair out of my face.
Well, we know one thing. When we get south of Bainbridge, Georgia, we've seen this ground an awful lot of times. It is the same, it is beautiful, and we do love it. This part of the country we just ever so much enjoy. But without further ado, let's get into Ryders rides. You know, this episode is actually quite special to me. All of them are special, but I've gotten 4 submissions, and you know, they've been sent in over the last few weeks. Part of them were while we were on the road to California, and it's amazing the common ground that we have with a lot of folks out there. And this first guy I could certainly feel for and appreciate a lot, because he reminds me a lot of me. He said that he had been following our trip out to California religiously, just wasn't missing any episodes. And he recently turned 50, although I'm 8 years older than that. But what he did recently was something that I'm sure was very, very tough. He got rid of his Hayabusa. Now, for those who don't know what a Hayabusa is, let me say you, it's the Busa. It is a big, bad, powerful motorcycle, and it is fast. It is brute strength, and it has quite a reputation. So, not a decision that he took lightly, and he ended up getting a CanAm. He wanted something that was more comfortable for him and his wife, that had some cargo capacity for the utilitarian kind of things. We're going to see a couple of pictures from the showroom. We're going to see that when he picked the motorcycle up, it was bad weather, and he took a screenshot of the radar picture. So this is a picture of Chris's beautiful CanAm Spyder. Congratulations on that fine ride, Chris, and a full salute from Coach Bob on riding in that weather. I love it. Now, next up, we have Corey. Now, Corey is where I hope to be in about 7 years. Yeah, he's about 7 years older than I am. He has recently picked up a 2020 Spyder RTL. He is building memories, and it is the coolest thing. And as you guys know, that my son and his wife are expecting. And so we look forward to building the kind of memories that Corey is building right now. Corey was also a two-wheeled guy. He had been on 2 wheels for over 54 years. So it's a very big deal for him to step out and get a Spyder and enjoy that. He mentioned that, you know, seeing the experiences that Coach Vic and I shared, you know, kind of moved him a little bit in that way. And I want to say, I am really, really humbled at the idea that we had any small part in you building such a wonderful part of your life. So here is Corey with his 2020 RTL and that beautiful family. Congratulations, Corey. Look forward to meeting you guys on the road sometime, Corey. Awesome, awesome. Next up, we have Dave. He's a Texas boy, and you know, he watched some of the videos on the lighting installations, and he shared a few pictures of his 2018 RT, and I wanted to share these because he had actually gone out to Spyder Pops, located in it's west of Hot Springs, Arkansas, and he was talking about how good the people were there, and how Mr. Spyder Pop is about his age and is good friends with LeMonster, and that it's just a great place to have work done to your Spyder. So, you know, I have heard a lot about this guy, and here he does magnificent work, and I look forward to one day getting out there and meeting this gentleman. But again, thank you, Dave, for the photos of your fine machine and the lights you had installed. Nice job getting those things installed there, Dave, and I think I need to add some more lights to mine. Now, the last Ryders ride that I'm going to share today, if this doesn't inspire you, I don't know what will. Because, you know, when you see people work their rear ends off and build a beautiful estate that they live on, pour your labor into something, and then sell it and plan on living on the road, man, living the dream, experiencing everything that this country has to offer. To go out and to buy an RV and to buy the big F350, something to pull it behind, and buy the Spyder to have for adventure on this whole journey. Well, that's what this couple has done. Their name is Bob and Barb. And let me tell you something. They are doing it, and doing it big time. Now, first off, when you see the picture of Bob sitting on a Spyder, don't get the wrong idea. Bob made sure that I understood that he does wear his gear. So wear your gear, be safe. Let me tell you a little bit about Bob when he picked this Spyder up. First off, when he picked it up, the dealer was 300 miles away. So this is a guy who's been off of a motorcycle for a while. In fact, he said he had not been on a two-wheeler, dirt or street, for 30 years, and that riding the Spyder felt quite comparable to a four-wheeler or a quad runner. Now, what made the trip even more special, these 300 miles when he bought a Spyder to get it home, he got to ride it through the heat, the rain, the traffic, and more rain and more heat. I love it. And he got to ride with a good friend of his, and his buddy was on a 2014 Harley Davidson. And that camaraderie makes it even sweeter. He tells me he looks forward to him and his wife enjoying the many trips on the Spyder. And he would like to thank Coach Vic and I for being a small part of this. And we're very, very grateful to be a small part of it, Bob and Barb. Thank you for the kind words. And also, Bob and Barb are looking at starting a YouTube channel. They already have an Instagram account. I'm not going to put their last name up here, but what I am going to ask Bob and Barb to do, if you want that information shared, if you would put that in the comments section, and then I will tag that, or I'll pin it to where it will be the top of the comment section so that people will see it and maybe help your channel or your Instagram grow. So without further ado, a few pics of Bob, Barb, and their beautiful 2019 CanAm Spyder RT. Well, congratulations, Bob and Barb, on your new chapter and the exciting trip that you have planned. Well, it looks like we're back into Florida, and we're almost to the house. So, I want to tell you this. Go out, buy the motorcycle of your dreams, eat right, take care of yourself. And remember, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. Now, what you need to do, go out and seize the day. And we'll talk to you soon, baby. You be safe out there.